Hello. Good morning. I'm right now watching
At the
Kwame
next
Brown
light,
live.
turn right.
He's talking about a pretty serious topic right now, and I still would be watching right now if I had internet. I'm going through a very bad area right now as far as signal goes, so it keeps buffering. So I'm gonna just talk about what I've heard so far. Apparently, Hassan Campbell. I saw the video, well, a clip of the video where he shout out to Self Talk. Made this little clip where he was saying that Kwame Brown was accused of sexual assault, and I was kind of curious about it because that was the first time I ever heard it. But Kwame is doing right now. He's still on live. He's doing an excellent job explaining what happened exactly, and I'm glad he doesn't have
At the light, turn right onto North Oakity Highway.
a PR person telling him what he can and cannot say, because sometimes it makes you seem guilty because you're not saying anything, you know. But from what he's saying, this young lady came to his house and had a few shots, like quick shots, then went on to say that she was drunk.
In 4.1 miles, take a slight right turn onto US 278 east toward Hilton Head Island.
Yeah, I'm on my way to Hilton Head today. She took three quick shots, and said she was drunk. Kwame thought that was weird, so he told her to go lay down in his daughter's room, you know, go lay down, maybe sleep it off. And he said afterwards, I guess later on in that day, he went and laid down in his bed. He said he sleeps naked. A lot of people do. I don't have any kids at home right now. It's just me and my wife. So I walk around the house in my drawers most of the time. You know, it's a good feeling to be able to walk around your house in your drawers, you know. But so he went and laid down in the nude because, you know, it's his house or whatever. And the same young lady jumps on top of him, and that's when my signal went out. So when it came back on, I think he said she was kissing him and all these things. And bottom line is, he ended up, you know, giving this young lady a glass of water at the end of the day when it was time for her to go home next day or whatever, and $50 for gas to get home. He said the next day, got a call from her, and she was trying to get him to apologize for something. He couldn't figure out at the time what it was that she was trying to get him to apologize for. She mentioned the R word, and, you know, it kind of took him, you know, caught him off guard. He was like, "What do you mean?" You know, he's trying to figure out the whole time. Long story short, he said later on he spoke to an attorney, some attorney, and he said that attorney told him that had he admitted to or apologized for anything, the cops would have came and arrested him, which that's the case a lot of times. That is the case a lot of times. You know, police will coax a woman into trying to get the alleged victimizer into admitting anything, so they can get that "I'm sorry," you know. They can later say that he apologized for sexually assaulting her. That's a very serious issue for athletes or any celebrity, any male celebrity. I can't think of not one time I've heard of a regular man coming out saying he was sexually assaulted by a female celebrity. You know, which it's possible. It could happen. You know, men can be sexually assaulted. It can happen. I mean, so that's I would still be watching right now if my internet wasn't buffering, but it could be back on right now, so I'll just I won't be too long. But one other thing I caught before my internet went out completely is Kwame addressed the moms out there who have these aspiring little boys who aspire to be athletes, professional athletes, or college athletes, or whatever, high school, whatever. Once you get into that arena, once you get into that lifestyle of being an athlete, elite athlete, making it to college,
in 1 mile, take a slight right turn onto
making
US
it
278 East toward
to
Hilton
the
Head Island.
professional league, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, soccer, whatever. There are women out there who are looking at you as a paycheck, either by having a baby, getting married, or possibly some kind of sexual assault allegation. Because they can always have a civil charge, they can always go to civil court and sue for financial gain. I think I said that right. I don't know. But, they're hoping for some type of settlement, basically. Settlement. They don't necessarily care if you go to jail or not.
To US 278 East toward Hilton Head Island.
They don't necessarily care if you go to prison. They want a settlement, And another thing Kwame said was, once the person who's being alleged of sexual assault is found innocent, that same amount of time that he would have been serving in prison should be sentenced on that individual who alleged that he committed the crime. In other words, the person who said that she was sexually assaulted, when it's found that she's not telling the truth, she should have to. I don't see why that's not even the case right now. That should be the case in every case. If a woman is claiming that a man sexually assaulted her and she's lying, it's found that she's lying, she should have to go to prison for that same amount of time. Why is that not the case? I don't understand that. It's just not. It's so many things that's not fair, but that's one thing that's just. You have men in prison right now who've done serious time for a crime that they did not commit, and once they get out, they're now labeled legally as a sex offender for the rest of their lives. They got to register wherever they go as a sex offender. I know people like this. Well, I won't say I know for a fact that they didn't do the crime, but I know what they allege, and I know what they went to jail for. I know that they say that they didn't do anything, but they still had to do the time. And they get treated the worst in prison, by the way. Yeah. So that's and if I had to say if I believe Kwame Brown or not, I absolutely believe him. That's my opinion. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened, but I kind of sense that he's not telling a lie. I sense that he's telling the truth. And another thing to go along with that is I never heard about this case. Never. I know they consider Kwame Brown a bust and all that stuff, but still, he's an NBA player. If that had any kind of traction at all, it would have came out. It would have been a big story, being that he was the number 1 draft pick, the youngest kid, straight out of high school. That would have been a big story. But he said due to the cameras showing this girl after she said she was supposedly sexually assaulted, hugging him, receiving $50 from him, and then calling him the next day, asking to come back over to his house. All of these things go against what she's saying. All of these things, and I'm sure if they did a rape kit, they would have found, no evidence of sexual assault, which is probably why they didn't do a rape kit. But I don't, Anyways, that's what Hassan Campbell came out with, and I saw the clip, but I'm like, what? I thought it was completely fabricated. But apparently it has some, I don't want to say truth to it, but it does have some relevance to what he was saying. I guess he was alleged of sexually assaulting this young lady, but it did not have any traction. So now I'm thinking, what if, because I always wanted to be a football player. Never got to play football in high school, but I always backyard football, and I do have a cousin who made it to the NFL. I had a friend who almost made it to the NFL. So I always wanted to play football growing up. Now I'm thinking to myself now, had that wish of mine come true, what type of hardship would I have been put under, And what kind of hardship do the average NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball player, what kind of stuff do they go through every single day? Not everybody in this world is good. I've said this before. Not everybody. I used to think that the majority of people are good. That may be the case, but not everybody that you see every single day are good people. People get put in tight situations and they feel like they got to do whatever to get out of that situation. If that calls for dragging somebody name through the mud and putting that person in prison, because that's what he would have faced had he been found guilty. He could have done prison time. Had he not used his third eye Geechee mind, because he said his intuition was, when she took those 2 shots and said, like, almost immediately she was drunk, probably hoping that he was the type of person to take advantage of that and actually going along with having sex with her. Now she has the evidence that she needs. Had Kwame not used that intuition, that third eye Geechee ability, he could have done some time and been labeled a rapist for the rest of his life. That's serious. I don't think people realize how serious. For me, being a black man, that's scary. Well, I'm married now, but I have black sons, And I've always told them, I said, look, a woman, I tell them when they're around 10 years old, my sons, I say a woman is like a rose bush or a rose. A man is like an oak tree. You always got to remember that. When it comes to how you handle a woman in any way, be it sexual, you guys get in a heated argument or whatever, and she gets physical with you, you got to always remember, you're an oak tree, she's a rose bush or a rose. She may have thorns or whatever, but ultimately that oak tree is much bigger, much stronger. And I tell them never to put their hands on a woman, and never, ever, if a woman doesn't give you the absolute permission to touch her, you don't touch her. That's very important. But it's very important, but at the same time, like I said, if Kwame Brown would have had sex with that girl, he could have been, facing prison time. He could have gone to prison and been labeled a sexual predator, or, a whole nine. It's a lot of things that's kind of skewed when it comes to that, consent. One of my favorite comedians, the Indian guy, he's from South Carolina, Aziz Ansari, he went to the same high school as my son, the governor's school in South Carolina. It's like a elite high school for smart kids. My son got into it because he was so smart, but a lot of rich white people in South Carolina, they pay to put their kids in those schools. And Aziz, he's older than my son, so they never knew each other, but they went to the same high school. And so I have a soft spot for Aziz Ansari. He seems like a real good guy. But he got caught up a few years back because he had some kind of sexual contact with this young lady. And afterwards, I guess it was consensual or whatever. But afterwards, she said it was weird. That's all she had to say, was that it was weird. She didn't say it was forced on her. It was assault. She just said it was weird. And Aziz was labeled as this creep now. He's labeled as it's always going to be known. It's going to be on his record, not official record, but the public opinion that he's now this weird guy when it comes to being in the bedroom with a woman, But men can't do that same thing. We can't do that same thing. That's the irony of it all, I guess. So I'm gonna try to see if Kwame's still on right now. I'm gonna go ahead and end this right now. I forgot to do this again. If you're liking the content, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps me out. Helps the views out. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you feel like it's worthy, go ahead and share it. I'm a writer, fictional African-American fictional writer from South Carolina, and you can find my books at writethisway.com. That's WRITEDISWAY. I'll put it in the description. I may come back later on and make another video. Yeah, my shirt is nice and wrinkled. But I had that on my chest, and I didn't have internet at the time, so I felt like making a video. Anyways, you all have a great Friday morning. It's still 10:14 right now. Hopefully I'll get this up before 12. So have a great, I said Thursday morning. I think I said Thursday. I don't know. If you all knew how much I got going on. Listen, I am writing a book. I have a lot of stuff going on with my job. As you can see, I'm driving all over the place every single day. I got projects going on at home. I got my garden. I got my mom's birthdays on Saturday. We have a birthday party on Saturday. So I got that going. I got so much going on. I don't know if I'm coming or going, y'all. So you got to excuse me if I say Friday instead of Thursday. But anyways, I'm still loving all the comments. Still loving the feedback. Still loving the love. Salute to all you guys and gals. But y'all have a good one. I'm going to get back to this live. Hopefully I can get it now. Y'all have a good day.